This is the most important video we are going to make all football season long, Falcons fans. So, if you are joining us, welcome to Falcons Today by Chat Sports. My name is Moose. I really want you to pay attention because the rest of this video could determine what the Atlanta Falcons' future looks like based off of the recent comments and injury news to Michael Penix Jr. and from comments from our head coach currently in Raheem Morris. So, before we break down everything, we do know that Michael Penix Jr. does, in fact, need surgery to repair his ACL. It's partially torn, and this is the bad news. With at least 9 months of recovery. At least 9 months. So we are looking at the very earliest Michael Penix Jr. not getting back onto the field until August. He sought the opinion of experts, including Dr. Neil. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. But Penix has an ACL sprain and needs full reconstruction on his ACL. Then, interestingly enough, right after this news came out, Raheem Morris took to the press conference, and this is exactly what he had to say. You have to change your quarterback plans in the offseason now with Michael Penix Jr.'s injury. Said he'd cross that bridge when he comes to it. Okay, first things first. Raheem's not going to be here to make that decision. I do not think Raheem Morris has retained whatsoever. I'm willing to bank my savings account on it. But even if Raheem isn't here, it does mean that a new head coach, when they come in, will want at least some sort of backup plan at quarterback. And no, I don't think it's going to be Kirk Cousins. We'll talk about that coming up here in just a little bit. Now, I don't want to be the one that is callous. I don't want to be the one that is rude. I don't want to come across as a dickhead. So, we always show support for our quarterbacks. Always, no matter what. Prayers up for Michael Penix Jr. If you want a healthy, speedy recovery, do me a favor, type those 9s in the comment section. I'm going to make sure that we get our 9s down in the comment section as well. Interestingly enough, more news came in right after Raheem Morris said what he said about the backup quarterback position and the quarterback decision going forward in the future. The Falcons have signed Easton Stick, formerly with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and Easton Stick has now been moved up here on the active roster, and Kyle Trask, my apologies, has been signed to the practice squad. So I'm sure you're wondering, what does the quarterback depth chart look like, at least right now? Here's what it looks like. Kirk Cousins is your QB1. Easton Stick is your QB2. And I have to list Michael Penix as QB3 right now because of that injury, but he can't play. So he's done for the rest of the year. If any injury happens to Kirk Cousins, it'll be Kirk Cousins that, gets moved out of the QB1 spot. Easton Stick moves in there, and then Kyle Trask will be moved to QB2. So, like I said, let's talk a little bit about the quarterback that the Falcons have recently signed. Kyle Trask is not a make-or-break quarterback. He's there because of an emergency. That's why you signed this guy. He's a player that was drafted in the second round by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, oddly enough, and he is former teammates with Kyle Pitts, so there's at least somewhat of a connection here to Atlanta. He did appear in 7 games, though, only in his entire NFL career, and Kyle Trask is probably a career backup. If that, he might be a quarterback 3 on most teams and practice squad quarterback on others. He'll bounce around the league for the next 10 to 12 years making paychecks, and that's totally fine. Not every quarterback is built to be a starting caliber or a bridge quarterback. We thought a long time ago Kyle Trask could have been one of those bridge guys, could have been a low-tier starter. It ended up not panning out like that. This is not about Kyle Trask, though. This is about Kirk Cousins. And Kirk Cousins is in a unique spot now because he does have 2 years left on his contract with the Atlanta Falcons with the opportunity to opt out of his contract after this football season. Now, why is that interesting? Why does that become a talking point among what Kirk Cousins is, at least right now? Well, the reason I say that is because Kirk Cousins, this is his audition. This is what he's basically becoming. Now, we're going to talk about what I think this is an audition for Kirk Cousins here in just a little bit. Before I do that, I have to tell you about our friends over at Brunt. Look, the Brunt Marin design is absolutely one of the perfect gifts that you can get this holiday season. As somebody who lives and breathes down in Texas right now, I have to tell you, getting out in the yard this weekend specifically and then painting the fence is something that I maybe not I'm looking forward to, but you know what? I do trust my Brunt Marin design boots when I have to go out and do all of this yard work. Let me tell you about why I love Brunt so much. These boots were comfortable right out of the box. Most other boots require a significant break-in period, but Brunt isn't just about work boots. They offer a full range of high-performance gear built for tough jobs. From heavy-duty work pants to weather-resistant jackets, Brunt designs durable, reliable workwear to keep you protected and productive in any condition. Choosing work boots used to mean sacrificing comfort or durability. If they felt good, they didn't last. And if they lasted, they completely wrecked your feet. With temps dropping and the holidays coming up, it is important to treat yourself or the hard-working man in your life to real comfort. Skip the throwaway gifts and get him something built to last. Brunt Workwear. Our listeners get $10 off their entire order right now with code CHAT at checkout. That's C-H-A-T. BruntWorkwear.com and use code CHAT. Order today and let them know that Moose from Falcons Today sent you. One more time, that's code CHAT to get $10 off your entire order at BruntWorkwear.com. All of that in the comments and description of today's video. So like I said, this is Kirk's audition for next season. And let me be very clear. I still believe that an opportunity for Kirk to be the team's long-term starter next year is very, very slim. Sure, if Kirk plays well enough for the remainder of this year, they might retain him. But you have to remember, there's the looming $35 million cap savings that you could have if you designate Kirk for a post-June 1st cut. Now, you could look at this as a Falcons fan and say, well, without Michael Penix Jr. and his status being a question mark, you would want someone who is as surefire as Kirk Cousins. But at the same time, I think we've seen enough from Kirk this year to know that that might not be the case. So like I said, the perfect time now for Kirk Cousins to show what he's made of for this team is right now. This is your audition to see if you're going to be retained by this football team. But let's go back really quick to what Raheem Morris said. Raheem Morris might not be good at the press conference. I don't think Raheem lies. I think this is something that Terry Fontenot was okay with him signing off on. The quarterback situation has changed. Michael Penix Jr. just went down with his fifth season-ending injury in the last 8 football seasons. I'll say that again. 5 season-ending injuries in 8 years. The Falcons are going to add a quarterback this season, guys. If not in the draft, in free agency. Well, Moose, what do the free agent quarterbacks look like? Glad you asked. It's not great. These are the 5 best. There's no shot you get Daniel Jones. Indianapolis, I should say, not Indiana. Indianapolis is going to make him an offer he can't refuse. He's gelling out there with Shane Steichen. So you got Rodgers, you got Wilson, you got the other Wilson, and you got Flacco. Well, Rodgers and Flacco were ancient in football years. And then you got Zach Wilson, who's a great talent, can't hit a layup to save his life, and Russell Wilson washed. So take your pick of all these old or up-in-the-air quarterbacks. I personally think if you were going to add a quarterback, it would be in the draft. So whatever the coaching staff is, because like I said, I don't think Raheem is going to be here next year. Same with Zach Robinson. A coach that comes in, regardless if it's Brian Flores, if it's Brian Dable, if it's John Gruden, if it's Matt LaFleur, who knows? All I do know is they will eye the quarterback situation, and they will say, we need a replacement strategy, because there is no guarantee that Michael Penix Jr. is going to be ready to go week 1. So who do you start? Kirk? Okay. What if Kirk gets injured? Kirk's 37 going on 38 years old, going on 43. There's going to be controversy. You got to brace yourself. This is the problem with having an injury-prone quarterback that constantly has these injuries. So let's break down a couple of the second and third round quarterbacks, because there's no first round pick this year. That's James Pierce Jr., who's currently on the field right now, and not the Atlanta Falcons, excuse me. The Los Angeles Rams currently have your first round pick this season. So we'll start with Lenoris Sellers, a player that I believe is, big-time project material. He's not a player that's ready to start day 1. In fact, he might not be ready to start week 8, but he is a project that you could work on. And under the right coaching staff, you could get Sellers to a point where he's ready to take on the second half responsibilities if Michael Penix Jr., Either A, isn't ready to go, or B, is showing clear regression after this other injury. Jaden Mayava is another one. Probably a better pure passer than Lenore Sellers. He's got great quick game material. Footwork gets a little bit sloppy when the pocket collapses. And then Cade Klubnik, probably the best deep ball out of any of the quarterbacks in this entire draft class. But Klubnik's one of those players that is very reliant on his first read, and he's a lot leaner than the other two guys. Sellers and Mayava both have big, thick frames. Cade Klubnik's like 6'2", 210. So take your pick. I mean, it's not going to be a smooth ride next year, Falcons fans. It just won't. You've got to be okay with that. It's rock bottom. What's the optimism here? Why am I actually today a little bit more optimistic than I have been in the last couple of weeks? Because this is the very bottom. There's only one way you can go, and that's up. And I know some smart-ass Falcons fans going to get down there and go, no, this team can continue to move the bar down even lower. I really don't think that's going to be true. Because you're going to get rid of Raheem. You might end up with a brand new quarterback next year. There's at least something to think about. There's some hope there. So I'll ask you this question. Should the Falcons sign or draft a quarterback this offseason? Honestly, I'm going D for draft. I'm going to stake my claim now. Yesterday I said I don't think they should go out and draft a quarterback. Situation's changed. It's not a flip-flop. There's new information now. 9 months minimum for Michael Penix Jr. He's going to get 0 preseason. He's not going to get any training camp work. What's he going to get? Thrown into the fire week 2, week 3? Good luck. It'll take him 5 or 6 weeks to even get back to what he usually would be. And right now what we've seen is not that great. It's been okay. So there's a lot of stuff right now that is just completely up in the air. You got to take it one game at a time. That's going to do it for us on this episode. Remember to join us. We're going to be going live here a little bit later today. I'll answer more questions later on in our live show. But a reminder to subscribe to the channel. Like today's video, rise up and be cool.